Hello, everyone. Great to see you as we take another look at a featherweight matchup here at UFC Vegas 81. This is a bout where there will likely be blood splattered across the UFC octagon floor during this matchup between TJ Brown and Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins, 39 years of age, fighter who he made it clear prior to his fight against Jonathan Pierce. John Anik shared that Darren Elkins plans to retire before he turns 40 years of age. Well, here he is, a few months short of his 40th birthday. The fight against Jonathan Pierce, he took, I believe, 3 consecutive front kicks to the face. A lot transpired in that bout. He suffered a knee injury and took a dominant loss. Darren Elkins, fighter who you talk about digging deep. The Mirsad Bektic fight. There have been so many others throughout the course of his career. I was at his fight against Dennis Bermudez, where Darren Elkins has proven many, many times that if you can't get him out of there, he's going to come back and haunt you. Elkins has fought so many worthy competitors throughout the years. I think of Charles Oliveira, a rare submission loss by Darren Elkins there. I believe that was the only submission loss of his career. You look at Alex Volkanovski. I tweeted earlier this week that that was a situation where Elkins took so many pops on the button. You watch the Cubs-Swanson matchup. Man, he is the damage for a reason, and he took and continues to take a tremendous amount of damage. I'd like to know the over-under on Darren Elkins getting cut, how often or how early in the bout that could potentially play out here. And he's taking on a fighter in TJ Brown who has struggled. He's faced a lot of adversity both inside of the octagon and outside the octagon. And we saw last time out against Bill Algeo, TJ Brown was having some success early. He was dominating Bill Algeo that first round, showed glimpses on the feet, also was able to hold his own on the mat. And TJ Brown fell off of a cliff, got caught in an exchange by an elbow, a well-timed elbow. Reminded me of a Chris Weidman elbow that we saw many moons ago. TJ Brown, no spring chicken here either, 33 years of age, 10 losses in his career. And you go back and you look at a few of his losses. The Bill Algeo one, that was one where if you listen to the interviews in the lead up to this fight with Darren Elkins, he mentions that he's been sober for a certain amount of time and that he didn't necessarily train as hard as he could have for Bill Algeo. And we have to take that into consideration. The loss to Shailin Nurenbeki, that is a cause for concern. The win over Charles Rosa, Kai Kamaka, that was the Kai Kamaka fight was a controversial fight. And then you see how TJ Brown has checked out of fights mentally. He's been caught in some bad positions. And I believe the fight against Jordan Griffin, there was a choke that was locked up. I believe only one arm was in, and Brown ended up checking out of that fight. So he's got his hands full here, Brown, with Elkins, if he cannot take Elkins out of this fight. And I go back, I watch the tape. You see Elkins has slowed down dramatically over the past 10 or so years. And the past 5 years, you can double that. He doesn't have much left here, but can it be enough for Elkins to get across the finish line? If Elkins comes out here, we know he's got the grip strength. He has, if the floor hits the mat, it almost as if when Elkins is standing, his equilibrium is off. I don't know if that is due to the number of concussive blows that he's absorbed throughout his mixed martial arts career. He has his hands full here with TJ Brown. Also, TJ Brown, I expect him to come out dialed in early. But the wheels could fall off at any time. TJ Brown fights out of Arkansas, is a talented fighter. He is. He's a talented fighter, but he's a great hammer, but a horrific nail. We've seen it time and time again in regards to TJ Brown. But Darren Elkins, how much does he have left? He wants to retire prior to his 40th birthday, as I previously mentioned. And you look at the odds here. The odds have closed over the past few days. TJ Brown now sits at a minus 180 betting favorite. And Elkins, he has, it seems like, 1 foot out the door. He's been training with Clay Guida and the folks at Team Alpha Male. But he's coming off of that injury against Jonathan Pierce, where I believe he broke his fibula, had an MCL injury, and was on the shelf for some time, and somehow made it across the finish line there. I don't think this fight is going to go the distance. I think that we're going to see TJ Brown come in and go for the kill early. Now, can he get Elkins out of there? That may be a tall order, but if he's able to do so, I know TJ Brown has 4 TKO victories on his resume, and that may be one way of handling his business here. And then also, if Elkins is able to establish some sustained success, Elkins could potentially take TJ Brown out of there. So my instincts are telling me that this fight likely will end inside the distance, and the number seems playable, but also everybody's banking on the toughness and the durability of Darren Elkins. He's been in trouble when Jonathan Pierce is landing 4, 5, I counted 5 actually, front kicks to the face in the first round. That's an incredible number. It speaks to the striking defense issues on the side of Darren Elkins. And TJ Brown, when he comes out of the gate, he's usually dialed in. So Brown should have some sustained success early, and then it's fair game. It's fair game as far as what's going to happen the rest of the way out. TJ Brown, in interviews in the lead up to this bout, has mentioned that he's not a big fan of fighting in the Apex. He usually thrives off of the energy from the crowd. He's not going to have that here. And Elkins inside of the smaller octagon is going to look to get his wrestling going. You know, he's not necessarily a striker. He's going to stick to his bread and butter, and his strength is the wrestling game out of Indiana. He can fall back on that. And Brown, you listen to his interviews in the lead up to this fight. He says that he's calling for a second round arm triangle choke. That may be a difficult proposition against Elkins. If I was in Brown's corner, I'd ask him to abandon the wrestling and come at him full bore in the striking department, because Elkins can be had there on the feet. Man, this is a interesting fight. I have my eye on this fight. I am leaning towards the TJ Brown side. He's going to be the pick here, but I don't think this fight is going to hit the scorecards. And I understand why folks are playing Darren Elkins here. He's called the damage for a reason. He's somebody who has been there and done that, and he's experienced just about everything you can inside of the UFC's octagon. Has a tremendous amount of fights, but also, I mean, look at the images on the screen right now. That is from Darren Elkins, I believe, a victorious performance there. So he's been split open. The Nate Landwehr fight, Nate Landwehr was lighting him up at times on the feet. Ryan Hall looked like $1 million out there on the feet against Darren Elkins. So put that into perspective here. Ricardo Lamas was able to handle Darren Elkins accordingly. I mentioned the Alexander Volkanovski fight. That was one that somehow, this was 2018, somehow Elkins made it across the finish line there. So the warhorse, the old warhorse, Darren Elkins, is going to hang in there, but I'm going to be picking TJ Brown here. I'm watching these odds come in, keep closing, and give me a number that's playable here for TJ Brown. But I suspect that this fight is not going to hit the scorecards. I think that when the going gets tough, you've seen TJ Brown look for a way out, and also you see Darren Elkins pour it on late. So I think that someone's either going to sleep or somebody's tapping out. Ryan, great to have you on board. Thank you. You got Brown in this one. Just stay disciplined. Yes. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's so easy to get caught up in making one mistake in the grappling realm, and then you have Darren Elkins with a body lock on you, and you're in trouble. He may take you down. He may grind you against the fence. We've seen it so many times where Elkins finds a way, and he fights with his equilibrium off throughout the majority of many of his fights. So I'm going to be picking TJ Brown here. But it is a closely lined fight for a reason. And I think that the fight is not going to hit the scorecards. I know folks are lining up to play that fight goes the distance number, but I don't see it happening here, folks. Want to wish everybody the best of the rest of their evening here. And also, if you wouldn't mind liking the video and subscribing to the channel, that'll be a big help. I've been putting out videos for many fights on upcoming cards, and that's the game plan here, to try to put folks in a better situation to win some money. And there's a long third-party track record behind me here, so we are going to continue to do so. So cheers to you. Go out there and get what's yours, my brothers. Have a great day. Let's do this. It's game time.